Because while I was weeping for children, he already had a family in the village. He told me later his mother forced him. Then the word came, your husband offended a woman he once promised marriage. And in the bitterness of her soul, she swore that whoever he married will never hear the cry of a child in their home. Hello, you're welcome to Life Stories with Bussy, where true life speaks and healing begins. Last week, we had Maya tell a story, and there were loads of reactions in the comment section. And I really loved that. There was a lot of conversations going on and people telling us what they felt. A lot of people had different things to say. One of the people who reacted said that she had walked in Maya's shoes. And she sent me her own story. While her story was similar to Maya's story, she had other things that were different elements in her story that I felt, wow. And I didn't really look at it like that. She went on the spiritual angle about how this thing works sometimes, and I didn't even see it like that. I just saw it like, the emotional angle of it and all. But she went on the spiritual angle based on what had happened to her. Her name is Shade, and she took us through her own journey, what she went through and what she did eventually, and how she's coping with that situation now. So come along with me. Let's go into Shade's story. So here she goes. Hello, Bussy. I just discovered your program, and honestly, I don't even know why I'm just saying it now. I really like it. Thank you for what you're doing. You're welcome. The issue you dealt with last week, Maya's story, that thing is common. Far too common, but people don't talk about it, and worse, they don't understand how damaging, how destructive it is. You see, it's one thing to find your husband is having affairs, but to find out he kept a whole family for 10 years, that kind of man is dangerous. I've lived that life. I've walked in Maya's shoes, and at the end of the day, I did what was the best for me. Let me start by saying this. That prayer you raised for Maya, that's the only real help anyone can offer her right now. I've seen the comments. People say forgive, accept the children. It's easy to say when you are not the one wearing the shoes. But do they know what kind of spiritual battles she might have been in? Let me ask you, do you know where the arrow that killed her only son came from? That woman, the husband's other woman, do we know who she was? What kind of life she lived? What her hands were involved in? Even if the other woman's hands were clean, what about her family? Do we know her mother, her lineage? Imagine, Maya could actually have been in a battle that she herself wasn't even aware of. And that's the most dangerous kind of war. You're a soft target, unaware. Inherited enemies you didn't even know existed, shooting arrows. I say this because that kind of arrow kept me childless for 8 years. I met my husband 25 years ago. I was the one who paid his way through university with my father's money. That's not even the story. When we got together, I knew that he had a daughter from his secondary school girlfriend. I accepted her with my full chest. That child was and is still a pleasant girl. She's married now and I still love her. My husband and I built a business from scratch. You already know where the capital came from. But for the first 8 years of our marriage, no child. No pregnancy for the first 2 years, then miscarriage after miscarriage, one stillbirth. I almost went crazy during that period. I didn't know what was going on. His daughter even lived with us for a while. My mother advised me to take care of her like my own. I already was. I met the daughter's mother too. We crossed paths a few times. She had moved on, married someone else, had 3 more children, no bad blood. Then one day, a friend invited me to a church program. I wasn't one of those church people. I wasn't running from program to program, but this friend, she practically sat on my neck. So I went. And there, In the middle of the service, the pastor said, and then in the middle of the service, the pastor said, you've been struggling with infertility, but it's not your fault. It's a spiritual covenant you know nothing about. I thought, how convenient. Surely, I'm not the only one facing infertility in this place. I didn't stand up when he called people out. I just sat. But he wouldn't stop. He kept saying, the person I'm talking to hasn't come out yet. And my friend, he started shouting, Pastor, she's here, she's here. I was embarrassed. I wanted to leave, but the pastor came closer and said, yes, you. I came out and they started praying. They didn't collect money, no manipulation, just prayer. Then the word came. Your husband offended a woman he once promised marriage. And in the bitterness of her soul, she swore that whoever he married will never hear the cry of a child in their home. I got home and started asking questions. It turns out that he was the one who disvirgined the mother of his daughter, promised her marriage. She believed it, but when he went to school, he cut her off. I went to her personally. I said, please forgive my husband and me. She said she didn't hold anything against me, that I was good to her child. But I pressed. I asked, did you ever say something? Anything like speak out of anger, curse or something? She paused, then said, yes. In my brokenness, I did. I was bitter because I believed he left me for someone with more money and despised me. I did curse my late mother too, but it's in the past. I said, no, we need to reverse it. You will pray. And she did. Right there, she prayed, cancelled those words. 3 months later, I got pregnant. Twins, my only children. But you think it ended there? No. Let me tell you about my in-laws, especially my mother-in-law. That woman was something else. She would come and visit and say things like, if you've used your womb anyhow, don't come and affect my son. Let him marry another woman, blah, blah, blah. And my husband, he would hug me and say, I was the love of his life, that I shouldn't mind her, that I would never marry another woman. But the joke was on me. Because while I was weeping for children, he already had a family in the village. He told me later his mother forced him. How did I find out? My mother-in-law died. At her burial, I saw a young woman with 3 children. Those children, exact replica of my husband. I commented on how they had a striking resemblance to my husband. My sister-in-law said it's just family resemblance, that the mother of the children is their cousin. I believed it. I played with the children. I gave them money. I didn't suspect anything. I couldn't imagine it would stoop so low until my husband fell ill. It was bad. We thought that he might not make it. And one night he said in Yoruba, Shade Mutishelede, meaning, Shade, I have wronged your destiny. That's when he told me, those 3 children I saw in the village, they were his. Bussy, I accepted his child before marriage. I lived under a curse I didn't even know about. And while I was suffering and praying, he was sorting himself out. If that's not selfishness, what is? And there, at that point, I checked out of that marriage emotionally. But I stayed, not for him, for my children. I helped him recover. Then guess what? The woman he had those kids with, she ran off, left the children and moved abroad with another man. He said that she was tired of playing second fiddle. And like Maya's husband did, he came. He asked if he could bring them home. I said yes on my terms. chef, nannies, drivers. I helped him hire them. I didn't separate the children. My children and his children played together. The youngest of those children even stole my heart. Because like Maya said, the children didn't have to be born into this. My mother told me the same thing people are telling Maya now. Forgive, accept the children, don't let people speak evil of you. And I did, but I moved next door into the empty property that we owned. Left him, his children, and the helps in the main house. That's where I've been, married and single at the same time. I do my own thing. I travel, enjoy life, laugh again. I rebuild myself. We still do business together, but I've written my will. Everything is spelled out because how do I know there aren't more children somewhere? Who knows what other surprises are waiting? Has he begged? Yes, for years. He said he wants us to renew our vows, start fresh, but I've told him I am past that. We attend social gatherings together, but that's it. We go back to our different apartments. Will I tell Maya to do what I did? No, because no two stories are the same. But if I can tell her one thing, it is this. Maya, don't just forgive. First, choose yourself. Thank you very much, Shade, for writing in and telling us about how you have walked this journey so far. Thank you very much for also shedding light on the spiritual aspect of this thing. And like you said, these things are very rampant. I've heard the story of the man who died in one of the plane crashes that happened in Nigeria. And when his family were going to bury him, another family appeared. A woman and her own children said that yes, the man was also her husband and she had a right to be there with her children. Imagine that kind of chaos. Like, we're still mourning this man. He died in a plane crash and we are mourning him. And then, on top of that, our hearts are broken because now we have discovered that he has another family outside. Imagine that. I think men need to do better. Like Shadi said, they don't get that the impact of this thing is destructive and damaging on everybody except them. Sometimes they like to check out. Like, men think that they can compartmentalize their hearts and say this compartment is for family A and this compartment is for family B. But they don't get that these things are beyond that. It's damaging to the women involved, to the children that are involved, and, to the next generation, and even you as a person. And at the end of the day, it's the men that are losing because look at Maya's husband. You have lost Maya emotionally. You have lost the so-called love of your life physically. Now you are here and you want her to take over the children. In the case of Shade, she said she checked out because imagine you brought in a child into the marriage. I accepted the child. She inherited that child. She went through 8 years. She went through 8 years of infertility just because of the man's mistake. And then even after that, in between the point where she was weeping and she was believing God for a child and all that, the man had gone to sort himself out. How do you want the woman to trust you? There can be no trust any longer. It means that everything is broken. So what do you want to do? Okay, so take a look at it. Now that the wife is staying next door, so you are staying in this apartment with your own children, you have a dysfunctional family. That's what you have done. It does not end well. So men should stop it. At the end of the day, it does not profit anybody. It does not profit the man. It does not profit the baby mamas. It does not profit the wife. It does not profit the children. So why are we getting involved in it? It doesn't profit anybody at the end of the day. So what's the point? Everybody is damaged. The man, the children of family A, the children of family B, the baby mama, the wife, everybody is damaged and destroyed. So what is the point? There's no point. It doesn't make any sense. Men need to do better. Let's just assume that these things used to happen to people my age because we're talking about people that have married 20 years, 25 years. Let's pretend that it happens at that time. Let us pretend that the men that we have now who are getting into marriages now are better than our generation or the generation before us have done. You've been watching Life Stories with Bussy. My name is Adebusola Dili David. See you in the next story. Bye.